Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome to the Cognizant Crone. Today is day 7 of 365 days of vlogging. So we're talking about whatever, life, spirituality, spiritual life, life spiritually, whatever, that kind of stuff. If you're new, welcome. Hey, glad you stopped by. And if you're returning, you must be liking some of what I'm saying. So speaking of stuff I talk about, let's talk about some stuff. So yesterday, on day 6, we talked about motivation. And then the other thing that I was kind of struggling with, should I talk about these two topics together, and then decided to split them up, is confidence. Because they can go hand in hand, right? You would think that if you're confident, maybe it's easier to get motivated. Or if once you get motivation to do something, then you'll be more confident. Well, yes and no. I mean, let's break this down a little bit. Let's talk about that. So I've been thinking about especially confidence a lot. I'm going to share something that I heard from somebody else. I don't remember who it was. I really don't remember who it was. Might have been David Snyder, but don't quote me on that. Anyway, I was talking about confidence, and I think it was him who said it. He was talking about confidence in this video, and he said, he said to the person he was dialoguing with, he's like, let me ask you a question. Well, let's say, have you ever had a time in your life, which most of us I'm sure have, you're going to understand this when I start talking about it, a time in your life when you had to do something. There was no choice. It's like, oh, you got to get this done. You have to do this. Full stop. No matter what. And you don't know what you're doing, or you're unsure or whatever, but you just went and did it. You're like, fucking do it, right? Like, it's done. You're probably scared shitless. Didn't know if it was going to work or whatever, but you didn't have a choice, and you're just like, fine, I'm going to do the best I can, and boom. After you perform whatever task you're afraid of that you think you don't have the confidence for, is when the confidence comes. Because once you've been through something, the confidence comes because you're like, I got this. I've been there before. Even if it's tough, even if it's hard, even if you weren't perfect, you know what you're walking into, right? That builds confidence. It's the repetitive things you do. It's not the confidence you need to have before you take the action. The confidence comes after the action is completed. Do you see what I mean? I hope this makes sense, because when he was talking about this, I was like, that is so true and brilliant, right? So if you think, well, I'm not confident, well, you know what? Most people aren't until they have to be. They don't have a choice. And you don't realize how much confidence you had. Maybe you had none and it just came later. Maybe you actually did have some internal confidence in there somewhere. But because it's not in the forefront and it's not obvious to you, you don't feel it. So even though you don't feel confident, it doesn't mean you don't have confidence, right? So I don't think this is going to be a long video. Like, I thought for sure I was going to babble on and stuff, but the more I think about it, it's like, no, like that story he told, that way of describing it, I think just sums everything up, right? We talked about motivation yesterday is, what's the consequence of not doing it, or the consequence of doing it? Your negative and positive reinforcements, right? So what's the reason you do or don't want to do something? Let that be the driving force. And then when you take those steps, like, that's when the confidence comes. The motivation when you don't have confidence is fear. It's fear. Sometimes fear is not a bad thing. Fear can be a good motivator, right? Not that you want to have that all the time in all situations, but fear of failure, fear of looking foolish, fear of not, not doing it right or whatever, right? Fear, I think a lot of times it's internal, and it's how we perceive ourselves, right? It's like almost like a self-judgment. I don't know if that makes sense or not. Like, we're so hard on ourselves sometimes, right? And that's where this fear comes. Well, it's sometimes it can be about not wanting to let other people down, but I think a lot of the times it's even more not wanting to let yourself down. Does that make sense? So anyway, I'm not going to go on any more about it. Like, I'm going to keep this one a short one today. But think about that example of confidence. Think about a time when you were like, oh my God, I have no idea how I'm going to pull this off. But you did. How'd you feel afterward? Did you have to do it again at some point? And did you have the confidence to go, okay, yeah, I got this? I think we've all been there. If you have a story like that, put it in the comments below. All right, we're going to wrap it up today. It's a short one. I know, under 10 minutes, and it's me. Like, what is that, right? Okay, so, yeah, thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, comment. All of those actions help put this video in front of other people. Let's get the channel growing. You know, we got all kinds of stuff coming up soon, really soon. Like day 11, I keep talking about it. Day 11, it's going to be here soon. You're not going to want to miss it. We're going to be hanging out. We're going to have some fun. All right, I am leaving it there. So we will see you for day 8 tomorrow. Bye.